You are not imagining the disrespect. You felt it in the pause before they answered you. You saw it in the way your message stayed unread while they were clearly online. You noticed how your ideas were ignored until someone louder repeated them and suddenly the room nodded. And instead of reacting, you swallowed it. You told yourself it was nothing, that you were being mature, that keeping the peace made you strong. That is the lie that ruined your position. Stop, look, think. Disrespect is never loud at first. It enters quietly like a test, a micro-betrayal, a delayed reply, a joke at your expense disguised as just playing. A boundary crossed once, then twice. And every time you tolerate it, something inside the other person updates. A system recalibrates. Their nervous system learns that you absorb pressure instead of returning it, that you explain instead of enforce, that you adjust instead of commanding space. And once that update locks in, you are no longer perceived as the prize. You become furniture, useful, replaceable, silent, wait. This is where most people fail because they think respect is about being liked. It is not. Respect is about consequences. It is about scarcity. It is about the subconscious calculation every human makes when deciding how much pressure they can apply to you without losing access. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach them that access to you is guaranteed. And when access is guaranteed, value collapses. Always, no exceptions. Listen carefully. This is where you lose the frame. You are living in someone else's story right now, not as the main character, but as an extra. The one who shows up on time, the one who gives effort without leverage, the one who explains intentions to people who never asked. And the reason this hurts is not because you are weak. It hurts because you feel the gap between who you know you could be and how you are treated. That gap is called suppressed power, and suppressed power turns into resentment. Think. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Jung understood it psychologically. Power is not moral, power is not emotional, power is structural. It flows toward those who occupy the center of the frame. And the first law you must burn into your nervous system is this: never tolerate behaviors that reduce your position. The moment you do, you authorize the behavior. Silence without withdrawal is permission. Kindness without boundaries is submission. Calm without consequence is invisibility. Stop. The brutal reality is this: people do not disrespect you because they are cruel. They disrespect you because the system allows it. The system being your reactions, your words, your accessibility, your willingness to stay when you should withdraw. Every disrespectful behavior is a probe, a test to see if you will flinch. If you correct it emotionally, you fail. If you tolerate it politely, you fail. The only winning move is strategic non-participation combined with recalibrated access. This is the pivot, this is the cure. The philosophical law is simple. What you tolerate, you normalize. What you normalize, you invite. And what you invite, you become surrounded by. Jung would call this shadow projection. Machiavelli would call it weakness exploited. Different language, same truth. If you want to stop being treated like an extra, you must begin to move like the prize. And the prize does not argue for respect. The prize makes disrespect expensive. Look. The first behavior you must never tolerate is being ignored when you have already given attention. Not because attention must be traded, but because imbalance signals low leverage. When someone consistently delays responses, cancels plans last minute, or disappears without explanation while expecting your presence on demand, that is not business. That is dominance testing. The correct response is not confrontation. The correct response is withdrawal. You slow your availability. You remove urgency. You stop filling silence. You allow absence to do the talking. Silence, feel that. The moment you explain why ignoring you hurts, you lower your rank. High-status individuals do not negotiate baseline respect. They adjust access. The system learns through loss, not lectures. And when they feel the gap you leave, that is when recalibration begins. If you feel fear doing this, good. Fear means you are overinvested, which leads us deeper. If you feel pressure in your chest right now, type system active in the comments. This is not engagement. This is alignment. The second behavior is casual disrespect disguised as humor. Jokes that diminish you. Sarcasm that frames you as incompetent. Laughter that positions you as the punchline. Most people smile through it. They think reacting makes them sensitive. In reality, laughing it off makes them subordinate. The correct move is not anger. It is cold correction or strategic silence paired with a change in energy. You stop laughing. You let the room feel the drop. Discomfort is a weapon when wielded correctly. Wait. When you remove emotional cushioning, people feel exposed. That exposure forces them to either respect you or distance themselves. Both outcomes serve you, because proximity without respect is poison. Remember this: you are not trying to keep everyone, you are trying to filter aggressively. Main characters have fewer people around them, extras have crowds, think. The third behavior is boundary erosion. This is when people ask for more than they give. They borrow time, energy, favors, emotional labor. They push small requests that grow bigger. And every time you say yes while feeling resentment, you teach them that your boundaries are flexible. Flexible boundaries equal no boundaries, and no boundaries equal use. The execution here is ruthless simplicity. You say less, you decline once, you do not explain twice. The system does not need justification, it responds to patterns. Stop. The fourth behavior is invalidation, when your feelings, ideas, or experiences are minimized, when you are told you are overthinking or too intense or dramatic. This is a frame attack. It positions you as unstable and the other person as rational authority. The mistake is defending your emotions. Defense accepts the frame. The power move is reframing with certainty or disengagement. You do not debate reality. You exit frames that do not serve you. Look. By now you should feel something shifting. A tightening, a sense of heat. That is your suppressed authority waking up. Do not smother it with empathy. Channel it with structure. Type system active if you are still here. The fifth behavior is broken promises without consequence. Apologies with no behavioral change. Words used to reset access without restoring respect. This is manipulation through comfort. The execution is simple and brutal. You match words with distance. Not anger, distance. Access decreases. Investment drops. Warmth cools. This forces either correction or separation. Both are wins. Silence. The sixth behavior is comparison and deranking. When you are measured against others. When your value is questioned indirectly. When you are made to compete for baseline treatment. This is where many people collapse. They try harder, they perform, they chase approval. That locks them permanently as extras. The prize does not audition, the prize selects. The moment comparison starts, you withdraw energy and recenter your life around your own mission. The system hates what it cannot measure or control. Wait. The final behavior you must never tolerate is inconsistency. Hot and cold treatment, attention followed by absence, praise followed by neglect. This creates addiction and self-doubt. It keeps you reactive, and reactive people are never respected. The execution is decisive. You stabilize yourself and destabilize the pattern by stepping out. No drama, no speech, no explanation. Consistency is dominance. Chaos is leverage, but only when you are not inside it. Think. Here is the truth few will tell you. Respect is not built by demanding it. It is built by making your presence optional and your absence costly. Machiavelli would call this calculated withdrawal. Jung would call it individuation. Modern psychology calls it frame control. Same weapon, different era. Every time you stop tolerating disrespect, your nervous system rewires. Your posture changes. Your voice slows. Your words become fewer and heavier. People begin to feel watched instead of watching you. You move from being evaluated to being sensed. That is when the roles reverse. Type system active again if you feel it. From this moment forward, you stop explaining yourself to those who benefit from misunderstanding you. You stop rewarding behavior that reduces you. You stop being available without intention. You stop reacting immediately. You pause, you choose, you act. And slowly, without force, the world rearranges around you. This is not about cruelty. It is about authorship. You were never meant to be an extra in your own life. You were meant to be the axis others orbit. And that begins the moment you decide that disrespect no longer has free access to you. Stay cold, stay precise, stay sovereign.